So, hey, good morning, folks. My name is Matt Lacey. I'm the Executive Director for UMVIM in the Southeast jurisdiction. Tammy, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, where I am. I'm Tammy Kuntz. I'm the coordinator for the North Central jurisdiction.
So this is supposed to be a Facebook Live, and I'm very sorry to those who were planning on joining us live. I had some bad tech difficulties I couldn't solve, which is frustrating, but we'll record this. I'll ask the questions. We'll have a conversation about the questions that were sent in, and then get some feedback that way, and hopefully the next live event goes smoothly. So I'm very sorry that happened, but I hope, thank you for those who sent in questions, and we'll answer those, and hopefully next time we can try and get these problems solved. So Tammy, the first question I got, which I thought was a really good one, was what was your first mission journey experience and why was it meaningful to you? So I'll shoot that over to you.
Hey, thanks. My first mission journey was back, I believe it was 1974. I was in high school, and it was a youth group journey to Henderson Settlement. We worked with a team from Andalusia, Alabama. Some reason I remember that. The Bible study that we did for the week was called Serendipity. And the one house we worked on that is very clear in my memory is a home where they were rebuilding kind of a ground level porch type thing. So as they were laying the roof for this space, the plywood was down, the shape was all there. They were going to fill it with cement, but before then, we were placing leaves strategically on the plywood. So then, as the cement was laid, then the imprint of the leaves would be there, and the homeowners shared that was a piece they wanted to always be able to see, that the goodness of God in everything, even during the winter when there were no leaves on the trees, that they would have these imprints of the leaves to remind them of life and the wholeness of life that God gives.
That's incredible.
That was just, that I remember it from when I was in high school. That was just pretty impactful.
Wow. I've never heard of that. That is quite a meaningful, wow. I've never heard of a homeowner doing something like that. That's really cool and kind of impressive, and I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. Well,
maybe my next concrete project, I'll do something similar.
Yeah. And we were there for a week. We did many things. But that's the one task that really sticks in my mind. And I also recall visiting the gift shop, which at Henderson Settlement was very small at that time, and learning about the crafts that were there, the items that were there that were all made by people of the community. So that was another piece that was pretty powerful. And I remember bringing home some not potholders, but coasters that one of the women knitted. And, it might not be that big of a deal, but to be able to purchase something from somebody in that community that worked hard on that. And this was part of her income for me to buy this. So that was, it was learning about the community, building those relationships with the group from Andalusia, and being just immersed in the Bible study for the week. So I'm grateful for all the adult leaders who had the insight to take us on that mission journey at that time.
I think, and I had done some domestic work when I was in, a youth in middle school and high school with church. But so this technically wasn't my first mission experience. However, it was for many ways it was, because it really opened my eyes. And I've talked about this many times, but my senior year in college, we went to Mozambique, and this was the first time I had ever been overseas. The plane journey was very long. I think it was close to 20 hours then, because you had to go over and down. But I had a very specific image of what it would be like when I was leaving, and felt, in retrospect, I was very arrogant. I thought that I was going to impart some knowledge, that I would go to save souls. And very quickly, when I got there, all of that fell apart, and kind of had a mini identity crisis of faith in the first 2 days there, because I felt that I was learning so much more from the people we were working with at the project than I was imparting. And I was a religion major. I knew I was going to seminary, all this theology in my head. I felt I had something to give. And when I went, God very quickly showed me that, no, you really just need to shut up and go with the flow, and just quit focusing on yourself and what you have to share, and receive. Just pay attention, shut up and listen, look around you, get to know these people. And that was a huge eye-opening experience for me. And that was really the first time. I had done mission projects and experiences before, but that was the one, that month-long journey to Mozambique, that was the one where, when I got back home, it really opened my eyes to the need of working with others everywhere, not just in foreign countries or at the homeless shelter. That was the one that really was a catalyst for my mission theology. And I feel like for most folks, mission has the power to do that. And I feel like most everybody I talk to has some sort of heart strangely warmed experience when they're in mission. It's just such a shot in the arm for faith development. You know what I mean? It's just like this really intense experience that really opens your eyes in a very short amount of time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
These kinds of things are one of the really important pieces of team leader training, and that we want the team leaders to be able to share during team meetings and such, that they need to encourage volunteers to set their expectations aside and be open to what God's going to place in front of them. Yeah,
absolutely. All right. So another question we had sent in was a practical one about insurance. And so the question was, UMVIM, the jurisdictional offices each have an insurance that you can purchase through the jurisdictional office, the UMVIM office, in your jurisdiction. And then the plans are in some ways similar. They are also different in many ways. But overall, the question was, why should a team leader or church purchase insurance through UMVIM rather than going to a broker directly? You have any thoughts on that before I share mine?
I think the big piece here is the confidence in what we are looking for in the jurisdictional coordinators, and what we look for in an insurance policy for our teams. We're not looking for a lot of extra bells and whistles that nobody's ever going to need. We want to be sure that you've got medical and accident covered, along with the repatriation if that's needed. We want to be sure there's some travel pieces in there without, and all of this at a cost that is really pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the cost is reasonable, and I have had team leaders in churches asked that question before. I mean, a couple of things come to mind. The first one is, well, it helps support the ministry, one. And so, the team leader trainings, the handbook, the project lists, the website, all these resources that are available, we don't really charge for those. And each jurisdictional office relies on one, giving and donations, whether that's through churches or individuals or annual conferences. And some jurisdictional offices do get apportionments from their jurisdictions, where we stopped that a while ago. But so all those things like the team leader training, the handbook, all those resources on the website, when you purchase that insurance, we do make a little bit of money off that, and it helps keep those resources free and available. Now, certainly donations do come in, but that small chunk from the insurance does help support the ministry. It helps us make those resources and keep them available. The second thing, I think, is just the knowledge of, most of us in the jurisdictional offices, with the plans we offer, we have some sort of relationship with either the insurance company or the broker. And so if, God forbid, there is a problem, I find it more comforting to go to somebody I know and I've worked with, rather than some nameless representative at an 800 number and being on hold for 40 minutes. All the UMVIM jurisdictional coordinators have that kind of rapport and relationship at the brokers that we offer. And so we're able to hopefully give a more personalized experience should something happen. And hopefully it never does. Just case in point, we had a team who had an issue, and the team leader was very frazzled by this. Understandably, it was a big issue, and so called our broker and was kind of talking through what happened. And the broker, rather than and seeing that the team leader was stressed, the broker offered to help file the claim for them. And that's not really something I think you would get, just going to an insurance company and buying a plan. I would imagine you'd be on hold for a long time and wouldn't really get that personal treatment that you might otherwise get when we work with brokers on a daily basis and help teams get insurance. So those are two things. And the last thing I'll say is this: I would much rather a team have some insurance rather than no insurance at all. And so, though I think the plans we offer in the Southeast and the other jurisdictional coordinators offer in their jurisdictions, I think they're great plans. But if it really is an issue of money and getting down to it, I would much rather a team have some insurance than say, that's too much, we can't afford that, and go without insurance. That said, if there are any teams where that's a huge financial burden or consideration, I would, and please email me and we can try and work through that. But the insurance is something that is important to our ministry. Not only does it cover teams, but also keeps the doors open and keeps those resources that we offer available to all people who wish to use them. So, anything to add?
Yeah, I would add that some insurance requests are for teams that are serving at with a mission partner that might not be on our UMVIM project list. Okay. So this information also helps us determine new projects. We can reach out to those site directors and say, hey, you've got this group coming in. I wasn't aware of what you're doing. Share more. And do you want to be part of the UMVIM project list, which will encourage other team leaders to look at your site to bring teams. So there's other assets that we have that we experience from the insurance requests. And again, like Matt said, it's more important that the team has the insurance, whether you get it from us or wherever. But we also want to know where you're going. We also want to know where you're serving. We want to be sure that whatever's happening, if we should hear about something that we can say, oh yeah, I knew that team was there. and we can help as needed. We're certainly not going to say, no, we're not going to help you because you didn't get insurance from us. That's not an option for any of us. We're going to be there for you and your teams wherever you might be serving.
No, that's a great point. You know, even if you don't get the insurance, I mean, just letting your UMVIM jurisdictional office know you're going somewhere that's a great point. You know, that sharing of information is an added layer of protection for the team as well, should something happen. And it helps us know where folks are going, and you know, if there's a new project that pops up when we see it come in, yeah, that's a great point. Just sharing information and sharing great projects that people have good experiences with. One last question I'll spring on you, Tammy, because you just got back from, where did you go?
Oh, I was in Guatemala the beginning of December, and then Rio Bravo, Mexico, the end of December. So
how was Guatemala?
Guatemala was great. We worked with Lulu Ramirez, the missionary down there at Camp Lamoa. The camp is a camp of the Methodist Church of Guatemala. And we worked on doing some renovations. It's the camp where they have their annual conference, and lots of retreats and other things happen at the camp. The team I was with, we replaced 8 toilets. We did a lot of painting. We tore down the old eaves, put up new eaves. Those were the big projects. It took all week.
Wow. And how was Rio Bravo?
Manos Fuentes in Rio Bravo, Mexico was great. That site, this time our team worked on a new daycare that the mission is creating. It's 4 buildings that are already there. We did a lot of ground clearing. We laid some sidewalks to get this site up and running. I believe they're hoping to open in March, which is really close. I've seen pictures of the next team that was down there doing some other work on that project. That was really great. And a really fun piece for this team, for me this time, was that we had volunteers from 4 different annual conferences as part of that team. So lots of new relationships and new partnerships that were established that week.
They have such an incredible ministry down there at Manos Fuentes. I was able to go, I think, for the first time 3 or 4 years ago, and was just impressed at the depth and scope and the care they give and consideration. I was really blown away. Just how much they do and how much they do effectively. And that's such a great project. Really, is just really a good beacon for that community. I was just floored with how much they did. And because they did it so well, pretty much everything that they kind of helped coordinate was really done. Willie does a great job there. I was really impressed with it. And I'm hopefully we'll go back. I had a team who is interested in taking a immigration immersion kind of experience down to McAllen. And the last time I was there, we crossed the border to go to Manos Fuentes, and hopefully I'll get to do that again this year, which is a really meaningful experience for everybody. So, well, I'm sorry to everybody that we couldn't make this live stream work. I hope I will record this, post the video on Facebook, and we'll try and do better next time. For some reason, my browser, even though I tried multiple, just wasn't cooperating. So I'm very sorry, but we will schedule another one very soon. And thanks for watching. So thanks, Tammy, for talking with me.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.